People often ask me, do I have any guidelines or ideas for making a do-it-yourself sap or blackjack? Now, keeping in mind these aren't legal in many parts of the world, some people may just want to have them for training purposes. Anything that is a concussive weapon that generally will have a degree of flexibility in their handle. Here, what we're going to do is start with a basic pipe connector and a screw-on cap. And you see I have 2 lengths of paracord, roughly a meter each. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the lengths and I'm going to make a series of double knots in them, and that's going to act as a stopper. Then I'm going to thread the 2 free ends through the wide part of the adapter. You might need to poke it through. Here I'm using a little metal wire, and then you pull it and work it in nice and tight. It has to be snug so it doesn't come through. Once that's in as tight as it can, I cap it off. Now, this is not a paracord tutorial. I'm using a knot here called the Cobra knot. There are dozens upon dozens of videos on how to do a Cobra knot. It's an over, under, over, and we alternate from left to right. For brevity, I'm going to time lapse it, but the paracord Cobra knot allows me to have a slightly wider handle. When I get to the bottom, I just knot that off. It gives me a nice flexible handle that's comfortable in the hand. And you knot it off to prevent it from unraveling. I'll cut off any extra pieces and use 2 of the long pieces to make a handle to my comfort. What I'm doing is I'm going to show you a variety of ways. So here I'm using some duct tape to cover it, so you see what this looks like in the finished piece. This is another variation I did, but I used a basket weave on the end. Again, you can look up basket weaves by paracord, and I used a very large depth fishing weight at the end. That's what I inserted in there. Again, with some duct tape, a little bit uglier, but I'm not really concerned with how it looks too much. I just want something practical and durable. Here's a third variation. So this is typically known as a monkey fist. Monkey fist knots can be found all over. You can buy a monkey fist pre-made. It just has a large 3/4 of an inch to an inch ball bearing inside. Here's a fourth variation, and this is just a pipe adapter at the end where I did a basket weave inside and did 1 layer of Cobra knots and then a second layer on top near the bottom. All of my handles I'm making out of bungee, so they're nice and stretchy. Now here for the missing element, we're going to use some Plasti-Dip. These are fully functional without dipping. Plasti-Dip is a liquid rubber coating. Super messy, smells like cancer, tastes like headache. You want to do this in a well-ventilated area, and if you're messy, you definitely want to have some gloves on. But you get an idea of what it looks like on one coat. You basically see all the weaving shining through. If you miss any spots, you can use anything. I'm using another one of the Blackjacks as a makeshift paintbrush. Really doesn't matter. I'm pretty used to working with this stuff, so I say nice and tidy, but I would recommend gloves and a mask. Sometimes you're going to get this little kind of drip at the end, which is like a little rubber nipple.
But you look like someone who could really use some rubber nipples.
That bothers you, you can just cut it off with an X-Acto, brush on some touch-up, and get rid of the nipple. Another way is when it's drying, it's normally going to form in the first 5 minutes. You can just brush it off or brush it off over the can as you're making it. Now these are what they look like when they're done, guys. You can see the weave all the way through, has a little basket weave finish. It maintains all of the flexibility. It's completely washable and way more durable, and those knots are never going to get frayed or unraveled in your pocket. The duct tape makes for an uglier kind of finish. If I was meticulous on how I applied the duct tape, it would be a little bit more beautiful, but I'm much more of an abstract painter than I am a photorealist, so I'm not too concerned with the ugliness. I want something practical. It's going to get mangled up in my pocket or my bag, and these particular ones are going to be used for high-intensity training, so I'm going to smack the crap out of them. Here's our pipe fitter with the cap. This one doesn't look like much, but my God, it packs a wallop. They all have great weight, and this just allows you to make them for a few dollars, a fraction of what you would pay for a custom-made leather one, and allows you to specify it exactly to your preference and to your size. And as an added one, I just took a very basic 1/2-inch nut, put a length of bungee through it, knotted it off, and plastic coated that. This simple little device can be made anywhere. You can wrap it once around your hand to have it nice and short and use it like a sap, or you could swing it at a longer length by just putting your hand through there and use it more like a kind of sling. The elasticity in the bungee also gives it a little extra wallop. So guys, just some ideas for DIY saps. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for the request.